Some people don't stay in your life, but your brain keeps them there. You tell yourself, it's over, I'm fine, I don't care. But then, a random song plays. A quiet evening hits. You see a name, and your brain pulls you back. Not because you're weak, not because you're obsessed, because your brain hates unfinished endings. A clean ending hurts, but at least it ends. What really traps people is uncertainty. No explanation, no closure, no final sentence, just silence. And silence is not neutral to the brain. Silence is information your brain can't decode. So it keeps trying. Your brain is built to predict. It constantly asks, what happens next? This safe, what does it mean? Closure is the moment your brain finally says, okay, I understand. But when you never get that, your brain stays on alert. It replays conversations. It rereads messages. It reconstructs details. Not to torture you, to solve the uncertainty. Here's the part most people miss: your brain doesn't only respond to rewards. It responds even more to the possibility of a reward. That's dopamine. Dopamine peaks with anticipation, with maybe, with what if. So when someone disappears without a clear ending, your brain doesn't register clean loss. Registers a possibility. Maybe they'll return. Maybe you misunderstood. Maybe there's still a chance. And that maybe keeps the loop alive. You think you're thinking about the person, but often you're not. You're thinking about the gap, the missing information. Your brain is trying to fill in the blank because blanks feel dangerous. In nature, uncertainty means risk, so your nervous system stays activated. That's why it feels physical. Tight chest, restless sleep, racing thoughts. It's not just thoughts, it's your body waiting for an answer. There's a well-known psychological effect. Unfinished tasks stay active in the mind, even when you try to move on. Your brain holds onto incomplete stories because it wants completion. Closure is completion. No. Closure is an open tab that never stops running. So your brain keeps the person loaded in the background, not because they're special, because the story is unfinished. You replay the last conversation, the last text, the last look, the last day. Your brain is scanning for the missing key. What did I miss? What was the real reason? What changed? This is not weakness. This is your brain attempting to regain control. Because understanding feels like safety. Here's the hard truth. Sometimes closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you. Closure is your brain accepting, I may never know the full story, and then choosing a meaning that allows you to move forward. Not a fantasy meaning, a stable meaning. For example, they weren't able to communicate. They chose avoidance. That is the answer. It's not satisfying, but it is closing. And once your brain gets a stable explanation, the loop loses power. So if you can't let go yourself this, do I miss them, or does my brain just want the ending? Because sometimes you're not attached to the person, you're attached to the uncertainty. Still think it's random.